actually finish this resolution.
I agree with South Africa.
Have as many countries as we can focus and all come together.
Thank you.
What's going to happen is the IAEA would do a check of all the countries in the Middle East if needed.
This is how debates proceeded on the third day of the 2011 Montessory Model United Nations in New York. The Montessory Model United Nations is a simulation of the main bodies of the United Nations and other multilateral organizations where students step into the shoes of ambassadors from UN member states to debate current issues on the organization's agenda. While playing their roles as ambassadors, student delegates make speeches, prepare draft resolutions, negotiate with allies and adversaries, resolve conflict, and navigate the Model UN Conference rules of procedure. For the first time in the over 50 years history of the Model UN Conference, it is introducing the youngest delegate participants who are in their 4 to 6 and 7 to 9 grade level in education. For the first time, these young delegates are voting on draft resolutions at the General Assembly Hall, where the world's real leaders speak every year on international concerns at the United Nations. Half of the students in the 4 to 6 grade group are debating under 7 UN committees, namely UNESCO, WFP, UNHCR, UNDP, African Union, Committee on Right of Child, and the Security Council, while the rest in the 7 to 9 grade group are debating under 6 UN committees, namely General Assembly, Food and Agriculture Organization, Committee on the Status of Women, UN Human Rights, UNEP, and the International Court of Justice. With 2 topics in every committee, the MMUN delegates have been debating issues ranging from environmental protection, malnutrition, reintegration of refugees, peacekeeping, conflict resolution, rights of the child, to nuclear non-proliferation, and international justice.
I was on the Committee of the Rights of the Child. Most children are not going to school because they're working with child labor, and they're mostly intertwined with each other, and to help education, you need to first stop child labor.
Sadly, I learned about how some of the people are poor, and 48% live on less than $1 a day.
I represent the WFP World Food Program. I learned a lot about malnutrition and how so many farmers need to be so much more educated.
Before playing out their ambassadorial roles in a Model UN simulation, the students researched the committee's issue to be addressed to learn how the international community acts on its concerns.
We prepared our kids they learned about the country we're representing, Qatar, so they did research about the country. They learned about the United Nations. They researched some of the topics. They were looking at freshwater resources, how to combat terrorism, how to build up countries after reconstruction. And they just got all the material together, and then they wrote their own speeches. They practiced the speech, and they did a great job.
They were preparing all year. They worked they had an after-school club 2 times a week, and they studied each of their countries and learned about all the different political, social, and economic conditions of the countries.
By assuming the character of ambassador of their selected country, the young delegates fully develop an understanding of the needs of a people and the importance of tolerating differences.
Peace was very important to all the countries, and since Africa has, over the past 40 years, there's been many conflicts, wars, and peace hasn't been very efficient in Africa, so that's what I learned the most.
I learned how to work with other people, and I learned about other countries that I didn't know before. My topic is post-conflict reconstruction and investment, so I'm learning a lot about disasters that are happening and how we can help them.
And how can we help them?
By donating money, I guess, or clothes.
This year, the event had students scheduled to come from China, Japan, Sweden, Canada, Mexico, Puerto Rico, USA, and Ghana to represent about 140 UN member countries. Even though there were no participants from Africa, the continent and countries like Ghana were widely debated by delegates from other nationalities.
We're the delegation of Ghana. Ghana is the Gold Coast of Africa.
Participation in the Montessory Model UN Conference is open to all students across the world. All these practices are in the interest of international cooperation to resolve problems that are affecting countries all over the world. I'm Samuel Ajman for South News at the Montessory Model UN Conference, New York.